People whispered behind her, back the moment she entered the church. Some stared with pity, others looked away as if ashamed for even watching. But all of them knew one thing: today was supposed to be the happiest day of her life, and instead, it was turning into a nightmare. Emily, dressed in a simple white gown, sitting in a wheelchair, waited at the altar for a man who was never going to show up. Her groom had vanished. Not because of cold feet, but because the moment he saw her paralyzed body, he decided she was no longer good enough to be his bride. And just when everyone thought the story would end in heartbreak, a single dad stepped forward and did something no one expected. Before we begin this emotional story, make sure to subscribe to your channel, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us bring more inspiring stories like this one to life. Emily Parker was 27 years old. A quiet, soft-spoken woman from a small town in Iowa. She wasn't famous, didn't have a big family, and didn't live a glamorous life, but she had something rare and almost childlike: kindness. Emily was the type of person who remembered birthdays, who wrote thank you notes by hand, who baked cookies for neighbors even when she barely had money for groceries. 2 years earlier, Emily had been in a car accident that left her paralyzed from the waist down. Doctors told her she would never walk again. The news devastated her, but Emily refused to let it kill her spirit. She worked hard in therapy, learned to navigate the world in a wheelchair, and taught herself to live with a smile even when it hurt. But the world didn't always smile back. Some people treated her like she was invisible. Others spoke to her as if she were a child. Dating became nearly impossible. Most men didn't even try to understand her. So when she met Brian, handsome, confident, charming, she thought her luck had finally changed. Brian swept her off her feet, or at least as much as a man can sweep a woman in a wheelchair. He brought flowers, called her beautiful, and talked about a future together. Emily, who hadn't felt special in years, believed every word. When he proposed, she cried tears of joy. She thought she had found her happily ever after. But not everyone shared her excitement. Brian's friends questioned his decision. His family warned him that marrying a paralyzed woman would be too much responsibility. Even strangers online, after he posted engagement photos, left cruel comments about her wheelchair. And slowly, bit by bit, Brian began pulling away. Still, Emily trusted him. She held on to hope that love was stronger than judgment. Then came the wedding day. The church was small but beautifully decorated with white roses. Emily's dress was simple but elegant, the kind of dress that made her feel like the old version of herself, the girl who used to dance barefoot in the living room. Her hands trembled as her sister fixed her veil. "Everything will be perfect," her sister whispered, kissing her cheek. Emily tried to believe it. As guests filled the pews, murmurs spread. Some didn't hide their shock at a bride in a wheelchair. Others whispered about Brian arriving late. But Emily smiled nervously, telling herself that all brides felt this way. Minutes passed, then 30 minutes, then an hour. The priest checked his watch over and over. Guests exchanged uncomfortable glances. Emily's sister paced outside, calling and texting Brian repeatedly, but there was no answer. Finally, after almost 2 hours, Emily's phone buzzed. A text message from Brian. Her hands shook as she opened it. "I can't do this. I'm sorry. I'm not ready for a life like yours." Just like that. 10 little words that shattered her heart. Emily bowed her head, fighting back tears. The church fell silent as people realized what had happened. A few women gasped. Some men shook their heads. A couple of guests even had the nerve to whisper things like, "Well, what did she expect?" And this was bound to happen. Emily felt humiliated, broken, and painfully alone. But in the second row, a man named Daniel Hayes watched everything unfold, not with judgment, but with a tightening ache in his chest. Daniel was a 35-year-old single dad, raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. His wife had passed away 3 years earlier, leaving him to juggle fatherhood, work, and grief. Daniel hadn't known Emily personally, but Lily had. Emily volunteered at the elementary school library where Lily studied. Every Wednesday, Emily read stories to the kids, animated stories full of silly voices that made the children giggle. Lily adored her. She called her Miss Emily with a sunshine smile. Before the accident, Emily used to be a dancer. She shared photos with the kids and told them that even though she couldn't dance anymore, she still felt music in her heart. The children would clap, and Emily would smile like their joy was her medicine. So when Lily tugged on her father's sleeve that day and whispered, "Daddy, why is Miss Emily crying?" Daniel felt something twist inside him. He looked at Emily, this woman who had given kindness to everyone she met, and he saw someone who deserved better than pity, someone who deserved the world. Then Lily asked a question that would change everything. "Daddy, why won't someone marry her? She's the nicest person I know." Daniel swallowed hard. That simple question hit him deeper than he expected. Why wouldn't someone marry her? Why did society act like her wheelchair defined her worth? Why was kindness something the world overlooked so easily? Before he fully understood what he was doing, Daniel stood up. He walked toward the altar, past the stunned guests, past the murmuring whispers. Emily looked up in confusion as Daniel knelt beside her wheelchair. "Emily," he said gently, "you don't deserve this. You deserve someone who sees your heart, someone who understands your strength, your compassion, your beauty. Someone who knows that your wheelchair doesn't limit your worth." Tears spilled down Emily's cheeks. "Daniel, why are you saying this?" He took a deep breath. "Because if no one else will stand by your side today, then I will." The church exploded with gasps. A few people even stood up in shock. Emily's sister covered her mouth. Emily stared at Daniel, stunned. "You don't have to do this," she whispered. "I know," he said softly. "I want to." Lily ran up the aisle and grabbed Emily's hand. "Miss Emily, please don't cry. Daddy says you're amazing." Emily burst into tears, not of sadness, but of something she hadn't felt in a long time. Pure, overwhelming gratitude. Daniel helped wheel her toward the altar. The priest, still in shock, looked back and forth between them before finally asking, Are we continuing?" Daniel nodded. "Yes, if Emily will have me." Emily nodded slowly, tears blurring her vision. It was the most unexpected moment of her life, yet somehow it felt right. The priest cleared his throat and began. The ceremony was simple, but every word carried weight. When Daniel promised to stand by Emily through everything, his voice didn't shake. And when Emily took her vows, her smile lit up the room. The guests who had whispered earlier now watched with softened eyes. Even those who doubted love found themselves touched by a kind of goodness they hadn't expected to see that day. When the ceremony ended, Daniel leaned close and whispered, "You're not alone anymore." Emily squeezed his hand. "Thank you," she whispered, "for seeing me." Daniel smiled. "I think the world just forgot what real beauty looks like." Lily hugged them both. "Now we're a team," she declared. "All three of us." And for the first time in years, Emily felt like she belonged somewhere. She wasn't just a bride. She wasn't just the girl in the wheelchair. She was loved deeply, sincerely for the person she was. Emily's story reminds us of something powerful. Kindness is not a small act. It's a force that can rewrite destinies, heal wounds, and give life where heartbreak once lived. We never know whose life we might change simply by showing compassion or by choosing to see their worth when the world refuses to. If you're watching this right now, let Emily's journey inspire you. Be kind, be brave, and never underestimate the impact of seeing someone for who they truly are, because sometimes one moment of kindness is enough to change a life forever.